What's up, everybody? This is Danny. Today I'm here in Atlanta, Georgia. Actually, we're here at the Sweetwater Brewery, which is really awesome. Thank you for letting us shoot here. And we're sharing some beers here, and we're going to talk about the Rhino, Evo, and the Pro sliders, actually. And this is my boy, Jonathan Casey.
What? This is Danny Widget.
OT for Tech, and we're just chilling here. And make sure you check out his channel if you haven't already. But we're gonna share a beer here. We're gonna talk about probably one of the coolest sliders that you can buy right now for the money.
Most affordable, yeah.
For sure. Okay, so the Evo sliders start out at $500, and that's really affordable, actually.
You can get them a little bit cheaper sometimes.
Yeah. So
what is it? The 24-inch carbon, like around 400, 450.
Yeah, so I mean, but the real way to get them is probably in a pack, and that's the one that I have right now. It actually is the Pro slider. It's the ultimate bundle. I think it runs about $1,500, but that comes with the motor and the Pro slider. That's a really awesome deal. So let me kind of show you how this thing works and why this is a little bit different than some of the other sliders that are out there right now. By the way, Sweetwater, this is awesome, man.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor, but they got the Hash Session IPA. That's what we're drinking right now.
Delicious.
Yeah, and we got to see some of the brewing stuff too in the back. That was really awesome, where they bottle things, and like we just got to kind of take a little personal tour. That was really awesome.
Yeah, but every time we tried to film something that was awesome, it would go away.
So of course we're testing a slider out, and that's the best way to test a slider, right? Is in like a normal, regular condition. I guess this is not a normal condition, but we were trying to get some slow motion stuff with the FS5. Then of course we got B-Cam rolling FS7 over there. So we're just trying to do what we can to test out the slider. And I mean, let me just say, the first thing is, I think this is the smoothest slider that I've ever used. I haven't used a ton of sliders before, but it is probably the smoothest slider that I've used.
I mean, coming from the Canova, it's like a night and day difference. And really the Rhino is what, a couple $100 more than the Canova? I mean, it's not that much more.
It's pretty crazy because something like, I mean, Edelkrone makes great sliders too, but they're kind of on the pricey side.
Yeah.
I'd say the equivalent to this on a Edelkrone would be about $2,500. So probably about
$1,000 more.
$1,000 more. So, and it's also probably the quietest slider right now. And if you don't know, there's actually a B-Cam over there with the slider going.
Picking up audio.
Yeah, and you can't hear it. I mean, it's crazy. So if you're looking for a really quiet slider that you want to do motion tracking and stuff while you're talking on camera, this is probably the slider to get.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my skits that I do in the beginning of my videos all pick up live audio using the slider live. I mean, you can't hear nothing. The Edelkrone, from what I understand, sounds like a tractor going through a city. I mean, it's loud.
Yeah, like choppers outside and stuff like that. You don't want that when you're trying to shoot B-roll or anything. But I mean, if you're just using it just for B-roll, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, and a lot of people don't use sliders for that reason. They don't use sliders for live stuff. But if that matters to you, then this is definitely the slider to get.
I mean, I guess the real thing comes down to why you would choose the Edelkrone over this would be portability.
Yeah, because even the smallest slider here it's a little larger, right? But I think the 24 is pretty, you could take it with you if you need to.
Yeah, I mean, it only weighs 1 pound.
Yeah.
The carbon fiber 24-inch slider weighs 1 pound without a motor or anything hooked up to it. I mean, that's super light.
And really, I think if you're starting out, I would probably get the carbon one first. But the Pro rails are extremely high quality. They're heavier, but they're more solidly built for sure. So if you have heavier cameras, like red cameras,
depending on what red and what you have hooked up to it,
and other types of cameras that you might have, something like the FS5, FS7, that would all be good on this. But if you have heavier cameras and if you have like the serious rig, you might want to go for the Pro.
The main difference is the stability and the amount of weight it can support.
Yeah.
The carbon fiber 24-inch supports 15 pounds. While I think the longer ones, it's much less than 15 pounds. I think it's closer to like 8 or 9 pounds.
Yeah,
I don't know the exact number, but I know the Pro rails, if you get the 24-inch Pro rails, it's 100 pounds. So I mean, you're looking at way more than a red.
I mean, who needs 100 pounds on a slider though? So here is the actual motor, if you're gonna look for the motor. Now, you don't have to have this motor, by the way. I'm gonna let you know, this thing is super smooth without the motor. I mean, it's pretty unbelievable how smooth this thing actually is. And I'll take the motor off of this to show you, or show that in the B-Cam clip. But the motor is really small. I mean, it just clips right here to the side with these two little bolts, and that's it. And the actual and the actual remote itself is magnetic, and it just clicks right onto there. And that's pretty awesome. I mean, this is a pretty good solution, I think so, as a whole. And I think it comes with something with the tripod where you can stick that on there, and it's magnetic as well, so you can kind of put this on the legs if you want to. And that's kind of a nice feature as well.
I mean, I use that so that way I can mount it real low on the tripod, or as low as I can get it, and then just use my feet to turn it on and off.
Yeah, and that's really cool. So all you have to do is turn it on with this, and you will see the screen. This is a color LCD screen, and you can pick which slider that you want. And then you hit this, and then you either have live motion, time lapse, or you can go into your settings. So if you go into your live motion, this whole wheel clicks, by the way, and you just hit click to slide, and it has to calibrate first when you first use it. So you'll see it move down there. See, it's probably out of frame, but I'll show you that. It calibrates, it goes to the end, and now you're ready to slide. So you can see this sliding right by me.
And you can't hear it probably.
Look at that. And that's the fastest it goes, that's the loudest it goes. Can you hear that? I'm even trying to get it to
quiet.
You can't hear crap. This thing is super silent. I mean, this is the Ninja Stealth slider. I mean, look at this. Super smooth. It's unbelievable. The footage is crazy good. And then you also have quite a bit of create move, I guess. You can kind of explain that more because you use that more. He was actually asking me earlier. He's like, you never use the custom time stuff? I don't, because I just use the slider stuff and I edit it, but he uses the custom slide stuff more than I do.
I mean, basically with create a move, it's exactly what it says. You create a move. You can select the distance of the slider. So in other words, if you have the 24-inch slider, which is really only 17.4 inches of travel time or travel space, so you get to choose between 0 to 17.4. So if you only need a 15-inch slide, you can select that. And then you go by your speed, and you can go from it's based upon the minute, so you can do like 1 second all the way up to, I think it's like 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. I mean, you can get it really, really slow. You can actually get the slide slower through creating a move versus controlling it manually.
Yeah, it's awesome. You have a pretty good amount of choices, but the thing is, you do not have to have the motor, by the way. I'm gonna let you know, it is super smooth without the motor. Sometimes we kind of discussed how smooth the track is, and it's pretty crazy. And you can actually get like a flywheel. I think there's a wheel, right, that you can use to control it manually. So if you're on a budget, then I'd say, man, you can probably get that without the motor, and you could probably still get some awesome shots with it. But I would say the motor will help a ton. And there's a new thing also coming out with the Rhino Arc, and that thing looks awesome. It's going to be an automated pans.
$300?
Yeah, I think it's 3 or 4. I think it's $3 to $400. I'm not quite sure exactly how much it is, but that attaches to here as well to give you automatic pans. So you're going to be able to pan and slide at the same time. That's not revolutionary by any means, but
it connects directly to the remote.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome. It's a peripheral that will go directly to here. So if you buy this, you can buy the Arc to get some incredible time lapses and things like that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
The only downside to the Arc will be the 15-pound weight limit.
Yeah, I guess that is an issue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, most cameras, even rigged out, are probably about 10 to 12 pounds, right?
But you got to factor in the head.
That's true.
Once you put a tripod head on there, because it's only going to pan, it's not going to tilt. So if you want to do panning and tilting, you're going to need a fluid head. Fluid head weighs about 2 to 3 pounds.
See, that's why I brought him here, because I would have skipped that totally. So I mean, there may be a few downsides to this thing. We were just messing with it, and the pins. The pins are kind of weird the way that this connects in. This thing right here, okay? Because usually you would think that this would just connect in by like, I don't know, anything else besides these little pins here. I mean, literally, these things are super frail, and I think he had some problems with it before. I just did because I didn't put it in the right way, and I bent them, and this can be an issue, because if you bend one of these prongs off, you're done.
Yeah, because they had to replace the whole motor. You can't just get a cable, which is really stupid. I don't understand why they didn't have a cable to connect to the motor and one to the remote. But they did inform me when I replaced mine that they are working on a fix, so maybe that's their fix.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a good thing, is that they're aware of these problems and they're working on them. And I just think that here, this is maybe the only part that I thought that wasn't the highest of quality, was the way that it connected in here, I think. There is a micro SD card slot here, just in case they do push out some firmware updates. I think you said we haven't had a firmware update yet.
No, but there is one expected.
There's one coming.
And hopefully it's going to fix the issue that I've been having with the battery.
Yes, and that's another thing that we need to talk about with the battery. I personally have not had any problems with the battery itself. It charges the way it's supposed to. And number one, by the way, battery life on this thing is incredible.
10
like
hours.
they claim 10 hours. I would say it's gonna at least last you, 7 hours.
Yeah,
or so.
it depends on the weight of your
7
rig.
hours. Yeah, depends on how heavy it is. But I've charged this thing twice since I've had it, and I told him that. He said I don't believe you, but at the same time, I've only charged it twice, and it works really well. So if you're worried about your shooting session being broken by the battery, don't, because you're gonna be able to go through an entire shoot with no issues with this. Now, talking about the battery with him, I think he's saying that the battery indication is not showing that it's charged.
And it happens over, I've gone through 3 different remotes, possibly 4, and every single remote that I have, I'll charge for 3 days and it still says I'm out of battery.
Yeah.
I notified them, they're completely aware of it. They don't know necessarily how to fix it at this point, or at least if the future firmware update that they're releasing soon is going to fix it. But they did assure me that it is charging and not to exceed the charging limit of 2.5 hours. So only leave it on the charger for 2.5 hours and take it off, regardless if it's showing a full charge.
Now, difference with mine is showing an indication. Mine almost goes to full, but it never goes to full fully. But actually, I have a step down where he doesn't. His just doesn't show as a charge, but mine actually does. So I guess it kind of varies. But they're working on these kind of quality issues, I think. But those are kind of minor issues to, I think, what is an excellent slider. Really, you have awesome build quality here. This is all metal. This thing is solidly built.
Everything's made of metal except for the feet, I think.
Yeah, and the feet may be an issue too. I think, and the testament to this he can tell you is that actually, I will let him tell you, but these feet are plastic, but he did have a little accident.
I did.
Yeah.
I was shooting a video and my whole setup just tipped. And if it wasn't for the wall, I would have hit the ground and broke my FS7. I would have cried.
He would have cried.
I would have. It would have been bad.
I would have cried too, because that camera's mine.
It would have just sped up my process on getting a red. But anyways, it did break my feet. But it's not that big of a deal because the feet are probably, $15 from a normal place, but they don't sell the feet. In order to get the feet at this point, it looks like you have to buy a new slider. But it is a lifetime warranty, so I'm guessing maybe if I would notify the company, they would just mail you the feet. I don't know, I gotta try it still.
And that's another thing you gotta talk about is, I guess, if you invest in this, they do say that there's a lifetime warranty on these because it's just built so well.
But there is a little gray area. It's only a lifetime warranty for things that don't involve a motor. So this is only like a 1-year warranty. But
What?
The slider is lifetime.
All right, I'm getting rid of the slider. No, I'm just kidding. But with this though, I think, just using it for the last couple months, I don't have any issues with build quality with this. Yes, there are some quirks with the motor and things like that, but when you're talking about build quality though, it's
impeccable. The thing is
it
amazing.
is crazy good. So really in the end, there's some nitpicks here and there.
With anything.
Yeah, like with anything, but this plate here, obviously you're gonna be able to put anything on this. You can make this as heavy or as light as you can have the base on, obviously. And it has absolutely no problems with any kind of camera that we've used so far. Obviously, his camera's rigged out.
It's going right now, and it probably weighs, 12 pounds?
Yeah, and his camera makes my camera look like a little baby camera, make it look like a little pansy-ass camera. But, but his sliding just fine over there, and I think that if you're looking to get a professional looking, or not looking, why would I say that?
It's professional.
I guess it's professional all around. If you're looking to step up from a cheaper, more budget type of slider, because there's a ton of those out there, and and people make incredible stuff with budget sliders. It's not that, but if you want something that's, I guess I can say that's elegant, that works, and it's super easy to set up too.
And portable. It's not as portable as like the Edelchrome, but 1 pound for carbon fiber is it weighs nothing.
Yeah, this thing, I think it's worth a buy. It's definitely worth trying. I'm going to be using this now. This is a part of my permanent setup, and I highly suggest it.
During this whole shoot, you carried around your FS5, the head, the slider, and the tripod connected.
Yeah, like this. Yeah. I was just carrying around on steps like this. I'm like, oh man, please don't let me slip on this. But I'm just...
So, that's how portable it is.
But it is. You can take this with you, and it's completely solid, so long as that your tripod fits it. Maybe I would say that this 48 inch is a little bit large.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty big. So but if you're making more films and things like that, you need a longer track, then obviously that's why the 48 exists. But I would say that you should probably buy the 24. I think most... obviously my audience here, If you're making YouTube videos, you probably only need about the 24.
Yeah, that's it.
You don't need anything else. But if you're a filmmaker, then I'd say the 48 is good. As long as you have a heavy enough tripod or a larger,
Well,
no, but anyway, I would definitely take a look at Rhino because this is probably a super long video, but you know, this is a kind of a format that we wanted to do. I wanted to have a beer. It's kind of like if we were having a conversation with a friend of yours. Yeah, and then, you know, just having a beer, you're talking about a product. So let me know what you guys think about this type of format. I think it's great because every time that we get together or, you know, other people get together, that's what we do. We just sit down and we talk about something. And then this is how I feel reviews are a little bit more relaxed on this because this is kind of an easy product to review because it's just so good in many ways.
Yeah.
So I hope you enjoyed this type of format. And if you have any questions, then let me know. There's a speaker.
There is a speaker. We never say anything about the speaker. There's a speaker on the remote.
That's speaker.
Can you say that about Edelchrome?
Edelchrome's gonna flag this video, but yeah. But I mean, everything in this way, I think this is pretty dope all around. So let me know if you guys have any questions on this slider. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Make sure you smack that like button too if you like this kind of format. You're gonna see a lot more of these. This is probably gonna be a first in a series. We probably haven't had enough beers yet to make this super interesting, but maybe in the future.
Next time we use some hot wings.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna be different next time, but I hope you guys enjoyed this and make sure you check out Jonathan's channel if you haven't already. I will link that down below and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Deuces.
Beers.
No, I literally mean deuces. There's the bathroom.